Hey guys, Equinox is going to be a temple of the Jade Serpent. This is going to be the newest. This is going to be the newest addition in the M+. I'm just going to go over the dungeon, walk you through it. Important mobs you need to look out for is a tank and stuff like that. So first pack we're going to get into, you're going to see these corrupt droplets and fallen water speakers. So the important thing here is the fallen water speaker has two casts. He has Hydro Lance and he has Hydro Burst. So you're going to see his first cast right here. Also, so we're going to go over this really quick while we're here. Corrupt Living Water. This guy has two abilities. He has a little circle on the guy that you have to dodge, and he has a big AoE that leaves 5 dots on the party. This is completely LOSable, so if you tank them around the corner, you can completely LOS them. These Corrupt Droplets do splash. That's all they do, just AoE damage. And yeah, that's it. But you see the Fallen Water Speaker, it has Hydro Lance right here, which is just a targeted ability, just like any other bolt, just does some damage. Then he has Hydro Burst. So Hydro Burst is a long cast, and it does big AoE damage if it goes off. You can CC this with anything, with like Chaos Nova, Imprison, anything like that, and it won't recast. And yeah, that's it. This is the whole first area. That's all there is these packs. So the what we do here, let me play it back. So we pull So I pull this first part, then I pull this part, and then I pull this. So the reason we pull the 3 extra water droplets is because we're popping all our cooldowns on this pull, right? So very first pull. So you want to pull as many water droplets as you can. You have all your healing cooldowns, all your DPS cooldowns. It's just easier to deal with all these droplets on the first pull rather than having a bunch on the second pull. So you'll see, like, we get through all this pull. We pop most of our like really important defenses, and we pop our big damage dealing abilities, and then we get through it. And then you see the next pull, only 3 droplets. So this substantially like reduces the difficulty. Instead of having 2 even-sized pulls, you have 1 bigger pull than 1 smaller pull, and it significantly reduces the difficulty. And it's just the same thing. A little tip here, if you want, on a higher key level, you probably tank it at the bottom of the stairs and have your DPS LOS at the top of the stairs. Just a little min-maxy thing, but at the moment it doesn't really do that much damage. But on higher key levels, you probably will want to LOS it. So yeah, just a little tip. And then the next pack is 2 water speakers and 1 corrupt living water. Same thing, you can tank it on the corner if you want. The important casts here are you want to kick the Hydro Lances and CC the Hydro Burst. You do not want to use kicks on the Hydro Burst because they come out way less often and you can just CC them. And then there's Surging Deluge, and that's just a targeted ability on the ground. If you've ever like done a Wash Away and Shrine, the same thing. So see Hydro Lances, then Hydro Burst right there, and then I silence it. And you'll notice they don't or the one that was silenced won't recast it after. So you go right back into Hydro Lance, the other one does it. Hydro Burst, that gets kicked. And that's it. That's the whole first area. So this boss has 3 mechanics. He has Hydro Lance, which is just a kick, same thing as the other mobs. You just kick that, and so you just rotate kicks. I think it's a 3 melee kick rotation. Yeah, 3 melee kick rotation, and then he has this ability. So you see the water will light up, and then when the water lights up, a couple seconds later, it'll explode and do a bunch of damage if you're in the water. So don't stay in that. Just like that, it'll knock you up. And then you see that circle at the top left of my screen that puts a debuff on a random player, and it's timed, and you have that X amount of time to take it out. It'll do exploding damage at the end of that cast. And that's it. That's the whole. And then he has 1 mechanic Wash Away. He points at 1 person, so he'll pick a person, he'll point at them, and then he'll go in a certain direction. And if you get hit by it, you die pretty much. And then it'll periodically light up the water. So here you'll see like the water's rumbling right here. Let me slow it down for you guys. 1 second. Let me slow it down. You see the water's rumbling, and then it explodes. And you have to pretty much jump the platform in between these explosions. And that is literally the whole fight. You just rinse repeat that until the fight is over. This fight's pretty chill, honestly. All you have to do is be careful of the overlap. So like, see the rumbling water, you have to just watch for that. That's pretty much the deadliest thing, is getting hit by that during Wash Away or during the debuff. So your Wash Away, you see it's going clockwise, and you just follow it. Wait for the rumbling waters to go away, and then you cross. Really simple. And then after this boss dies, everyone that's alive gets a movement speed buff to get to the next area. So this next area, there's going to be 2 really important mobs. There's going to be these 2 little mini bosses that do throw torch, as you'll see, and then they do and then there's the haunting shaws. The haunting shaws do something called haunting gaze. So you'll see here the little haunting shaw mob, and then the 2 mini bosses. So the haunting shaw does 2 abilities. The haunting shaw does haunting gaze, which is just a tank hit, and then he does the fear. And you'll see the fear. You just have to kick it. You cannot CC it. It will recast if you CC. So I silence it. And then they recast it. And then you see the throw torch. They do an actual crap ton of damage. So that's pretty much all these guys do is spam throw torch at people. It's really, really deadly. It's just a dot on people, and it does a lot of initial damage. If you've ever done Court of Stars, it's literally the same thing. It just does way more ticking damage than the one in Court of Stars. And they do stack. So yeah, you can see people just get global here. This next part, these lesser shaws. So there's the lesser saws, there's the talking fish, and there's 1 haunting shaw. We already went over the haunting shaw. The lesser saws don't really do anything. They just explode when they die. You can get around the explosion by CCing them at the very end, which I'll show you here. And then the talking fish does 1 cast, which you kick, which is a sleep on the tank. So you'll see here, we just go through this pole. There's a kick, and then splash. Then I try to chaos nova them, but I fail. Might get it on this one, we'll see. On this next one. So this next pull, let me go back a little bit. So after this pull, we go into the lesser shaws and the songbird. So the songbird does a peck on the tank, and then he does an AoE song, which just does pulsing AoE damage that stacks and ramps up over time. So you see, it just does this, and you just stand out of it. Hopefully, and then we don't stun here, so it explodes. And that's it. That's the whole player. And then this next part is the triple pack. This is like the little 3. I know they're not mini bosses, but they're like named mobs. So we go into this. So they have the Crybaby Hosen, which does these little tears that are coming around. You just see them on the ground. Just dodge those. And then he does an enrage that you have to kick. The Tiger does a dash, which leaves a bleed, and the Golden Beetle does 2 abilities. He does the Staggering Blow, which reduces your HP and does a lot of damage to the tank, and he does the Shield, which explodes if you don't, or it explodes when it is removed. And then below 50%, the Tiger does a Catnap, and that heals. So there's the Rage from the Hosen. If you don't kick it, he does a lot more damage. Golden Barrier, it explodes when you break it. You see the cat's going to come back. He'll probably do the cast soon. He doesn't do the cast, but yeah, he does something called Catnap, and it just heals. This is just the RP. You just have to kill this, and it starts the RP. So this fight is really, really simple. It's literally 2 mechanics that you have to juggle. It's just AoE damage and swapping targets. So the way this works is if you hit 1 target the entire time, he'll start gaining stacks of peril or something, whatever it's called. And basically it just increases in damage over time. And the way you get rid of these stacks is by swapping to the other one. Then the other one will get a damage reduction stack, which they do less damage until you swap back to them. So yep, see here the spam cast and you see the little angry face stacks he's getting on my nameplates. That's the buff. And then a 7 stacks you swap, and then they go away, and he's getting the sad face stacks, and those are and that's just, he's doing less damage now. And you just rinse repeat that the entire fight. If he hits 10 stacks, they will go immune. They will lose all their stacks, and they will go immune, and you will yeah, it'll just not be good. It'll cause a chain reaction. And you just swap at 7 stacks, and yeah, you just rinse repeat that. They just lose their stacks. You literally do this over and over until the fight's dead. You can cleave. Cleaving is not bad here. Just don't like hard AoE. If you hard AoE, then they'll just they'll never lose their stacks. And that's the whole fight. This next area is really difficult. It's a very, very dangerous area. There's 2 really important mobs. There's the Mistweavers, which do a lot, and then the Guardian, which does AoE stun. We will wipe here because we miss a kick, but you'll just see what the Fear Cast does. So the Mistweaver does something called, let me see it. Defiling Mist. Right here, you'll see it. So Defiling Mist. Right here, this can target pets and players, and if it goes on a player, it does an actual crap ton of damage. It is very, very rough. It does, it pretty much will kill you in like 3 seconds, so do not let this, don't let this cast go through. It recasts very often, so you need at least a 3-person kick rotation on it. The haunting scream, you only need 1 person. The guardian does a sweep or a kick on the tank that just reduces their healing done, and then he does a leg sweep, which you just walk out of. And then you see the stun there. The lesser shaws don't do damage, so you guys can actually see that in action. So we stun, and then a couple of them explode, but then the other ones don't. Also, the Mistweaver does one more ability called Touch of Ruin. If you know, it has a Touch of Karma icon. It puts a decurse and a healing absorb on you. So it either needs healed up or decursed. And you see we wipe here, and then we run back. So yeah, if you let the fear go off, it's really bad. So let's fast forward, redo it. And then we chain into the next part. So we'll go over the cast again. There's a roiling or defiling miss. There's the kick. There's the leg sweep. You just walk out of it. There's the kick again. There's the touch of ruin on the lock, and that's just healing absorb. Really simple. To see that goes on the pet. You don't need to kick it when it goes on pets or statues or whatever. It doesn't really do anything. But you want to kick it when it's on player. See, 1 tick did like 70k damage. It's really, really potent. So this next area, there's the Guardian, there's the Mistweaver, and there's the Haunting Shaw. And then there's also these new minions called Minions of Doubt. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, Minion of Doubt. So these do a fervent ability that's called Dark Claw or something. It does a big tank hit, and if the tank kites it, it will fervent. Same with the Guardians. Their kick also fervent, so watch out for that. The Haunting Gaze also fervent. So yeah, it's a lot of fervents here. And then he just does these circles on the ground that you have to dodge. And that's it. That's the whole area. It's really, really simple. You just have to, and then this pack right here is 2 kicks. So this pack is really rough if you're like a Brewmaster. There's 3 magic tank busters. There's 2 Haunting Gazes, and there's the Dark Claw. So if you're a Brewmaster here, it's very terrifying. There's a stun right there. You see Lesser Saws don't explode at all. So yeah, we actually pulled it off for once. So yeah, you just rinse repeat that. Do this the whole area of the trash. I would recommend, if you have DPS cooldowns, doing this pull. If your tank can handle it, I think it's a really nice pull. Then you take this pull really slow. Get your cooldowns back up. Deal with the Lesser Shaws. See, these will, I think these get Shadow Fury. Yeah, these get Shadow Fury and they don't explode, as you see. Shadow Fury fell off and they did 3 damage, or the 3 of them did exploding damage. Then you see I'm like walking slowly so we don't get fervented. Then we silence. We get a kick on the Haunting Shaw out of the silence, and a kick on the Mistweaver as well. So you see right there, the silence doesn't stop the haunt, it just delays it. Walk to the leg sweep, and then that's it. That's the whole trash. And then we get right into the boss. So there's 2 bosses left. This one is this one has the beginning is called Serpent Kick, and it's just a healing dot that you have to dispel, or a magic dot you have to dispel. And then they do the kick, which is just light AoE damage. Then he does the waves after each kick. So it'll always be strike, wave, kick every single time, even in the next phase. At 70%, he'll phase into the Jade Dance stage. This will turn the abilities into Jade Serpent Strike, the kick, and then the Jade Wave. The Jade Serpent Strike is no longer dispellable. It is a healing absorb, and the kick and strike do way more damage. So you see here, you can jump the kick or roll it, heroic leap it, intervene it. I don't know if you can Death's Advance. I don't know if that's fast enough, but yeah, as you see, I leap here, it kicks, does a bunch of damage to my DH, but I take no damage. Then he fires afterwards. So it's strike, kick, wave, strike, kick, wave. So strike, I jump, boom, he kicks, and then I come back in. You can do this as Monk with roll as well. Strike, kick, jump, come back in. Strike, jump, come back in. Every single time. That's all you have to do. Very, very simple as a Demon Hunter. Then this next phase, he turns into a dragon. So all you got to do here, so there's one frontal. This frontal is a massive cone, so be very wary of where this points. This is your job to point it away from the group and make sure you're communicating and standing still. You don't want to be moving it around. So Jade Fire Breath does a bunch of damage if you're not a tank, is like a 2-shot. And then he does these little circles on the ground called Jade Fire. So you see these little pools that he's putting down, the left under the boss. Those do a crap ton of damage, a really big amount of damage. Do not stand in those; they're very deadly. And then you see the Jade Fire Breath just one-shots. It also has a massive cone. And that's the whole fight. You literally, so it's Serpent Kick, so Serpent Strike, Kick in the first phase, and it does light damage, and then the wave, and then the Jade, the damage amps up heavily, and then the final phase, it's very easy, very simple. So this pack is skippable if you hug the wall. Our druid did not hug the wall, so you have to play it. But it's literally just the Guardian and the Mistweaver and the Water Speaker. The Water Speaker is last priority in kick. You want to always kick Defiling Mist if it's not on a pet, and then you want to kick Hydro Burst or a CC Hydro Burst. That is your priority. And that's it. And then we're going to go on to this boss. This boss is extremely easy, so you're going to see the little strat we do. So I'm just explaining to them that you're going to stack on for the intermission. What we're going to do, we're just going to stack on the wall, put your back behind it. I'll explain that more when we get there. So this part is extremely easy. This boss does literally nothing. He just does a little debuff on people, and you dispel it, and it does damage, and that's it. So that's the whole P1. It pretty much does nothing. And he does he does periodic AoE damage. So he goes into this intermission, he does Bounds of Reality. Everyone gets an ad marked on them. There's 4 figments, and then there's a big guy. And the way they spawn is they spawn out of your back. So if you put your back against the wall, they all stack. So you see one person didn't stack and put their back against the wall, so it jumped out. But if you do this, it gets really nice and stacked. Super easy. Ring of Peace works on these if you're a monk player. And yeah, you just rinse, repeat that. So you see those little AoEs that come out of them? That's supposed to do damage, so this fight should be a lot harder, but it's just not working at the moment, it looks like. Looks like it's doing like M0 damage. Yeah, it does like literally no damage, so I'm sure they'll amp up that damage pretty heavily. And you just rinse, repeat that till the fight's over. You're gonna see a cleaner version of the ad strat here. So we're gonna stack here, back against the wall. Boom, really nice and stacked. So you see like the difference, like in doing it cleanly. And yeah, that's it. That's the whole strat. You just rinse, repeat that till the fight's over. The the ad phase is timed. It's not percent based. So you see here, it'll do it at like 800k. Just go through one set of ads for you, or one more set of ads for you. And then he does it at 800k. I mess up my jump. I almost mess it up. Boom. All stacked, and we're good. They just get AoE down. And that's it. Hope you guys learned something about Temple of Jade Serpent. I broke down all the mechanics, all the dangerous abilities. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will put a link with the build below. And yeah, have a wonderful day. Thank you guys for watching. Follow, like, subscribe. Check out the Twitter, Twitch. Have a good one.